Hi, this is Kumaravel, Assistant Professor ECE from RMD Engineering College. Today's topic we are going to discuss on balanced outlook on law. Balanced outlook on law is used to emphasize the need of law and regulation in engineering practice. Also, its limitations. First, we'll discuss about the relationship between law and ethics. Things that are legal need not to be ethical. So for this statement, let us consider an example of online gaming, right? So in online gaming, they are legal, that's why they are having it. But what happens, people who are playing online gaming, so they are losing their money, and sometimes, so if they lose a huge money, there are people who are attempt suicide also. So it means what, something is legal, always it need not to be, it is ethical. Also vice versa. Something is illegal, it need not to be, it is unethical. Law with respect to social experimentation. What does it means? So people are not fully responsible. Why? Because if you don't have any rules and regulation to follow, then what happens? People will not follow it. They used to do whatever they wish to do. For an example, if you don't have traffic light, what will happen? Right, so you will ride as like you want, you will not stop your vehicle, right? You will go for overspeed. Okay, so always you need some rules and regulations so that we can minimize the causes. So in the similar manner, when it comes to corporate or companies, so what happens if they don't have any rules and regulations, right, to guide them, then what happens, they will mostly focus on their benefit instead of considering whether it is helpful to the people or the end user. Okay, now standards. In when it comes to any companies or an organization, standards plays a major role because standard facilitates accuracy in measurement, prevention of harm, and quality product. Okay, so why it is of one example? Let us consider prevention of harm. Prevention of, in the sense, most of us, we all know about crackers, right? So crackers, we have both the branded as well as unbranded crackers. If you buy a branded crackers, so what happens? So they will follow some standards, right? So what happen? So it will not be, or it will not, we cannot tell, it will not be. So the possibility of accident will be minimal. But when it comes to non-branded crackers, then the possibility of accidents are more. Also, when it comes to quality product, if you see standard crackers, so in standard crackers, they are nowadays they are manufacturing with eco-friendly, right? Whereas if you see non-branded, they are not focusing on it. This and all the various importance of standards. Next, advantages. Standard helps the manufacturer, client, and public. How it is so? So if your product have standards, and then what happen is, so your client or the your client so will have trust on you, right? So you will have trust on you, so you will get more order. When it comes to public, so public may use your product because they know that what, so you are following some standards, as well your product is really good. Okay, so all the three people, from the manufacturer, client, and public, everyone are mutually benefited. So similarly, it maintains steady and balanced competition among industries. So let us consider an example of mobile phone. Right, if your budget is going to be 10 to 20,000, you will buy lower end model of Samsung mobile. Right, when it is a Samsung mobile or some other branded brands. Okay, so if your budget is more than 50,000, you will go ahead with what, buying iPhone, right? So what does it means? People who have budget more than 50,000, they will buy iPhone. So they will have that business. Similarly, people who could not afford iPhone, so they will go ahead with buying what? Samsung mobile, lower end model which cost around 10 to 20,000, right? So they will also have their business. Okay. So what does it means is, so if your if your product have very good quality, then it it can compete in the market. Disadvantages. What might be the disadvantages? So it reduces the choice of the customer. Choice of the customer in the sense, when you look about standard, you will have minimum number of product or an companies which follows the standards. Okay. Also, right, excess standardization reduce the initiative and interest of workers, right? So practically what happened, so if you have more if you consider more standards, then people will feel like why it has to be, right? For these simple things, why we need to do these much things, right? So sometimes people may reduce the initiative and interest of works. Problem with law in engineering. So what are the problems of law in practicing engineering are? So first one is most of the laws are lag behind the technology development what we have right now. Also, mostly we have some loophole in our laws. So people are utilizing these loopholes and they are misusing the law. These are the problems we have in engineering practice nowadays. Then how it should be? The proper role of law in engineering is law should act as a protector of ethical engineers. Also, it should provide a self-interested motive. Okay. Then finally, engineering responsibility regarding the law. So as a social experimenter, right? So engineer should should not think laws or regulations are only for their documentation purpose, right? They should understand the value of it and how to implement it for the benefit of the people or the end user. As an engineer, we have to think. Okay, we should not think that laws and regulations are only for documentation purpose. Thank you.